Hello everyone, this is Eddie Moore. Well, this video is going to be about a couple dreams I had that I've been promising for a really long time to say. Some of you wanted to hear them. I don't know if you'll all find interest off of this, but it's religious in my meaning and then, in my understanding. It's about the end times, revelation. Just a quick recap of my life that'll kind of add into this, that I can go into more depth about my life growing up and the things that have happened with the Lord that's sent, just things that significantly from Him that I know that are from Him. Please, I apologize if I'm a little bit slow and choppy on my words. I'm exhausted from work, and so bear with me. But when I was I grew up in a Christian home, but when I was 9 years old, I went to this man named Stanley Greason with my mother. And I knew Jesus then a lot. But this guy, something about him, I remember him being just full of light, basically. His light was bright, and I could tell. He was a man of God, and I knew, and he talked about this thing called the joy of the Lord, and I said, I want that. And a long story short is I was touched big time as a young kid. And I grew up in a Christian home. I never had really anything. My parents didn't fight around me. I had it all, you know, basically the best life ever a kid could have. But at that seminar, that Stanley Greason, there was a bunch of people there, and we were praying, and God was in the room, and He picked me up and He pointed at me, and I didn't know He was pointing at me, and then I realized that He was pointing at me. So He told me to stand up, and He said that I'm supposed to say something someday, or I'm called to the ministry. And He doesn't know how or when, but He just knows I was called to the ministry. And I'm not saying this is it, and I'm not saying I'm any more special than anybody else. Everybody has a chosen path and has a prophetic calling, as you might say. It's just a matter of, are you going to grasp it or what? And maybe you are grasping it and you don't even know it. So I'm not trying to say I'm special or anything. I'm just telling you what I am because I feel it on my heart. I've heard it from enough people that I need to say something. And it seems like it's weighing me down. So, and I'm sorry about the video quality too. Anyway, so from that point on in my life, things were different. I grew up as a kid, and I could just, a small instance, go fishing with my dad, ice fishing for days, and just pray, Lord, you know, and just pray about catching fish and ask Him, you know, if I could catch some fish. I don't really remember too much. All I know is I was catching tons of fish and nobody else was, and I remember telling my dad I was praying, and he thought that was crazy. But many stories like that go on. Now to the dream. That's just kind of my life growing up, as I always had the Lord there. I wasn't always seeking Him, no, not even close. But this dream is significant to now, and I know it is. These two. I was driving from Hazen to Beulah. That's a town about 8 miles from here, small town. I'm from a town of about, I'd say now about 3,000, 3,500 people. Hazen's a little smaller. But I was driving from there to here, a road we take all the time, and the sun was up to the sky. Would have been out in about the east sky, high up, kind of not straight up, but between straight up in the horizon, halfway, about 45 degrees to the west sky. And I was looking up at the sun driving down the road, and I look up at the sun, and I know there's somebody next to me. I don't know who it was, but I know it was my age I am now, and it was pretty much some of the creepy part is some of the things that I wear. A specific bracelet on my hand that I think I just got, that I don't know, I'm not sure, but it's just feeling like it's really weird. And the sun all of a sudden had these beams of light come out of it, and I don't know if it was so bright, and it's like they started off and then I had a pause. And I remember reaching over to the person next to me, and you know that feeling when the hair just boils up in the back of your neck and you just get that, it's just overwhelming, holy crap, like almost the feeling of God leaving you. And I looked over and I reached out and I said, it's Jesus. And when I looked back up and pointed, these lights shot from the sun all over to earth. Now, I don't think that was necessarily when Jesus was coming, but I thought it was a major event to something that we've never seen before, and I maybe grasped it as that. Because the next dream I had was my parents' house, which is about 3 blocks east of me, 4 blocks. I was at their house, and I was out on their back patio, and it was pitch black, and I looked up in the sky, and I'm sorry, I'm getting kind of creeped out. You look up in the sky, and there's these clouds, and a lot of them look like the clouds that we're starting to see. Can you see the sky filling up with haze? We have videos about it. We all know these clouds were so low, so deep and dark and purple, and just, I can't even say what all colors. I know it was purple and dark, and they were like swirling, rolling. And I remember looking up in the sky, and up in the sky, up in these clouds, just like in the storms that we see with the lightning, some people claim to see ships, beings, Zeus, god of lightning, the gods of old, fallen. They didn't make characters like that for a reason. They didn't do it. They're fallen angels. And there was these beings up in the sky, right below these clouds, and I looked up at my parents' place, up in the sky, and there was these beings hovering in this darkness of these clouds, and they were close to me. I would say close would be about, I don't know, anywhere from 300 feet. I'd say 300 feet at the most in the air. So they were down. And if you guys don't know how low 300 feet is when you're talking about the sky, it's low. It's really low. Most smokestacks at a power plant are over 300 feet. Bare minimum 250 usually for a good big smokestack. But when I seen it, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid. I didn't have the emotion like I did when I seen the sun. Okay? I wasn't afraid. I was at peace almost. Now, I haven't prayed and dwelled on this. I've been really not focusing on the Lord as much as I should. Work is a big one. You get tired. You know, I pray throughout my day and stuff, but I'm not really giving it to Him what we should be at this day and age and this time, because it's so urgent. And I just took a turn to where these things are starting to come up big time. A lot of people have videos that are like, I'm seeing the same things, and it's crazy. I'm not gonna go too much into it, but there's so much happening. Get ready, it's here. Can you see the haze, the smoke that they're now saying with the California fires and all that? It's gonna happen. Volcanoes. The days of darkness are soon upon us. My dream of the days of darkness and this sun, whether it be a solar flare, I'm thinking that sun thing's a solar flare, because the sky was clear blue. That's the only reason why I don't think it was Jesus's return, because I don't think things are going to be the best when He comes down. I don't think there's going to be blue skies. I could be wrong, and I'm driving in a car. I don't really think so. So I'm thinking that's maybe the start of where maybe our power gets knocked out and we get invaded, some other crap happens, earthquakes, volcanoes, I don't know, but it's soon upon us. And oh yeah, that dream, sorry, I kind of went on a rant, but I look up in the sky and I see these beings, and they're not only are they low and they're huge creepily huge, they're shooting lightning back and forth through their hands and their arms, and they're not nothing you've seen on TV. They're not nothing like that. They're what you would imagine them to be. They're celestial beings. They're not for this earth. They're not made for this earth like we are. This is our earth, our living earth. They're meant to be in heaven, and they're not, and they're ticked, and they're mad that they followed Satan and they fell with them. And